Welcome to my $100,000 stock experiment, year 2, week 17, ending August 9, 2019. This isn't an endorsement to purchase any stocks that I've bought, nor an endorsement to purchase stocks in general. I'm on a mission to become a great growth stock investor. I crossed out CanSlim because I'm finding that while I do like to buy some CanSlim stocks, I'm also buying stocks that are under $15, which have CanSlim characteristics, but that low of price, under $15, is not one of the CanSlim characteristics. I'm learning and growing every week, and I'm sharing my stock journey with you. Watch me on my journey, learn from my mistakes, and celebrate my successes. The general market condition is that the market is in correction, which means you should be thinking very hard before you purchase any stocks. It's really not an ideal time to be buying stocks when the market's in correction. This is the S&P 500 6-month chart. A week ago on Friday, 8/2, the S&P 500 closed at 2932, very close to the 50-day simple moving average. That simple moving average line is the red line, and number 1 is pointing to where it closed last Friday, 8/2. On Monday, 8/5, there was a huge drop. In the next few days, it did recover some, and it closed slightly below its 50-day simple moving average. At number 3, it closed the week at 2918. I drew the blue dotted line a few months ago and the purple lines a few weeks ago as reminders of where I want the S&P 500 to be above. When this index falls below these lines, I know the market is not acting well. This is the VIX, or volatility index, and the lower the better on this one. I like to see this below 16 and ideally more around the 12 range. It did close the week at 1797. I did sell 5 different stocks this week. PUYI, I bought this and sold this all in the same week, and I lost 9%, $895. Beyond Meat, last week I didn't have a floor. On Monday, 8/5, I set my floor at 169.28. I thought this stock should hold that point, but it didn't. And I sold it. Some on 8/5. My B2 I sold. I had just about a 1% gain in that. And then my B2 I sold on 8/6. And I had an 83.4% gain in 10 weeks. So an amazing gain. But this stock wasn't holding up. Now it looks like it's going sideways. The last 4 days it's closed pretty closely together, and I will be watching this and consider buying it again. GSB, I also had a great gain in this stock. I had a better gain last week, but I lost part of it just based on my rules. I held this for just about 2.5 weeks, and my B1, my gain was about 21%, and I did have almost an 8% loss in my B2. All in all, I made about $1,500 in this stock in a week and a half. So Luckin Coffee, this stock also sold on 8/5. I did take a loss in my B1, a 3% loss, and in my B2, an 8% loss. Earnings are Tuesday or Wednesday coming up, and I am thinking of buying this again, but I need to think about earnings. It's typically not a good idea to buy going into earnings. Chewy, another stock that sold, held it less than a week. I had an 8% loss in it. Last week on my YouTube, someone asked where I get my stock ideas from for stocks like Enphase and Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat was an IPO stock. IPO stocks are new issues. They have very little data, but if you look at the charts, I look for this sort of a cup pattern. It needs to be over 5 to 7 days. And then I want to see a breakout, the stock going up in price on volume. That volume piece is really important for me to see. Beyond Meat. This is an example of an IPO stock. A common chart pattern for an IPO stock is that it has a very strong first day. It'll go up for a few days, and then it starts to come back down, forming one of those blue cut patterns. These ones happen to be about 7 days long, and that's a good length, but you can see them go longer. On the right-hand side of the cup, when it starts to come back up and it reaches the previous high from the left-hand side of the cup, that would be a good time to buy the stock. as long as you have volume. Volume is very important here, so you want to keep an eye on that volume section also. I waited for it to take a little break, and at number 1 is where I made a purchase. That was on 5/21, and I actually bought and sold in the same day. But I didn't let that deter me. I saw that it was forming another cup, and on number 2, I bought it again, and then it had that great run up. Number 3, I made an add-on buy when the stock seemed to be taking a little pause, and then I sold at number 4. I also get stock ideas from what I call my tandem-like screen that I created in MarketSmith. Last year, I had this stock Tandem that I owned from May 2nd, 2018 to September 18, 2018, and I made an amazing 391% on that stock. So I look back at when I purchased that stock and what its characteristics look like, and I built myself a screen in MarketSmith that I call my Tandem-like stocks. MarketSmith is an IBD product. You can find it at investors.com, and it has proprietary ratings for stocks. My screen looks for composite rating greater than 85, my relative strength greater than 98. It looked for low price stocks between $6 and $15 with an accumulation distribution rating of an A or a B, and I looked for greater than 100 in the 50-day average volume. Looking at that screen today, it gives me 15 stocks. This week, 3 of my purchases were from my Tandem-like screen: NG, Rubicon Project, and Smith Micro Software, 1, 2, and 3. Number 4, GSB, I held previously. I had a B1 that I made 21% in and a B2 that I took my 8% loss in. And this week I have AAPS with that W on my watch list. That's how I found Enphase. It was on my Tandem-like screen. The third place that I get stock ideas is from investors.com, the EIBD newspaper, and MarketSmith. The EIBD newspaper comes out every Friday or Saturday, I guess, and it's an electronic newspaper, and in it, it has this IBD 50 list with these little mini charts, and you can see down on the right-hand side, number 8 is Paycom. So these little mini charts, they show this composite rating and the relative strength. They show the group number. They show a little mini chart, and then down at the bottom, number 5, it gives you some little tips on buying, whether it's showing support, whether it's extended. So you can get a lot of information and good stock ideas from this list. Even though the market is in correction, I did buy 7 different stocks this week. 3 of the stocks I found on my Tandem-like screen. One of them had been on my Tandem-like screen a few weeks ago, and the 5th one that I'm going to show you has a lot of the same characteristic, the chart action, that the Tandem-like stocks have. This is a 1-year weekly chart. Down at number 1, you can see I changed the frequency to weekly. The averages up at the top now are average measures in weeks, not days. It corresponds to the frequency down at the bottom. You'll hear me talking about relative strength or the RS line, composite rating or the CR as I explain these Tandem-like stocks. You can look up these ratings on investors.com or in MarketSmith, but they're proprietary ratings for the IBD. This is Paysign. It was on my Tandem-like screen previously, but now this accumulation distribution rating is now a C+, so this Tandem-like screen only looks for A's and B's, but it does have a relative strength of 99 and a composite rating of 99. Down at number 2, it's showing you that there's 7 weeks of up volume. And number 3 is showing that the price is right between the 8-week and 13-week simple moving averages. Smith Micro. This also came up on my Tandem-like screen. This is a stock that's $6 a share. It does have a relative strength of 99 and a composite rating of 90. Those are the IBD proprietary ratings. You can check those out at investors.com. Down at number 1, you can see the change in volume for this stock. It had been relatively low volume. This is a year chart, so for a whole year, it had been relatively low volume. And then in the last 3 weeks, it's really spiked up. The price has gone up and the volume has gone up. NG, This has a relative strength of 98 and composite rating of 91. Down at number 1, I like how the volume is increasing and it has had several up volume weeks. Number 2, you can see that the 8-week and the 13-week, the pink and the green line are moving apart from each other. The pink is accelerating faster. Like all my stocks, when I make a purchase, I put a floor at 8%. That's the yellow line, and the green line is where I purchased the stock. Ruby, the relative strength is 99 and composite rating is 94. This volume has really been spiking. Number 2 is showing where the 8-week and 13-week simple moving averages are moving apart. The pink's going up faster than the green. Can you guys see the pattern here that I like? IPHI, this is not a tandem like stocks in terms of price, but it does have a lot of characteristics. It has that change in volume that I like. The last 12 weeks it's been up, and the last 5 weeks it's had increasing volume. It has a relative strength of 98, a composite rating of 98, and the accumulation distribution of an A. Now I'm going to review the charts of my current holdings. Here's my current holding bar chart. This is just for my B1s, and it shows 1 bar for each week. So you can see Enphase I've owned since May 17th, and GSX in the pink next to it I've held for 3 weeks. This is showing the dollar value of my $10,000. I look at the individual charts and then I rank these in order of the weakest chart to the strongest chart. Not necessarily my dollar gain in each stock, but how I think the chart looks. Paysign, this is my weakest stock. The 8-day, 13-day, 28-day, and 50-day are all coming together. It just crossed back above that 50-day. This is a new purchase for me. I've held it for just 2 days and it's up just about 1%, and I am going to leave my floor at 8%. Paycom, this chart's a little better than the last one. Again, the 8-day, the 13-day, and 28-day are all together, but the stock price is above that. So hopefully it will continue to go up and those lines will separate and increase. I've held this stock for just 1 day and it's down 0.2%. I did raise my floor to the 50-day simple moving average. GSX, this stock is above its 8-day and 13-day simple moving average, but the pink line, the 8-day, has gone horizontal. We do want to see that increasing. So the stock did close above that, but we need to see it making some more progress. I've held this stock for 2.5 weeks and it's up just about 14% on my B1, which is great, but it hasn't really advanced in the last 2 weeks. And I did move my floor up to that 13-day simple moving average. Ruby, this stock closed Friday right around its 8-day simple moving average. I did just buy it. I've held it for 2 days. It's up just about 1%, and I did leave my floor at 8%. Smith Micro Software. This stock is above its 8 and 13-day simple moving average. However, the 8-day started to go horizontal. So we want to see that increasing, not going sideways. I do like down in the volume section that the average volume has increased substantially from what it was about 2 weeks ago. I've held this stock for just 2 days and it's down 3.3%. IPHI, this stock is also above its 8 and 13-day simple moving average, but that pink 8 line and the green, the 13-day line, are very close together. We want to see some separation and we want to see the pink going up faster than the green. I've held this for just a few days, 3 days, and I'm up about 1%. I did move the floor up to the 28-day exponential moving average. NG, this is one of my strongest stocks. I've held it for 2 days and it's up just about 3%. I did move my floor up to that 13-day simple moving average, and you can see that the price is well above the 8-day and the 13-day simple moving averages, and the pink is going up faster than the green. Down in the volume section, I do like that the last 5 days were up days and that 2 of those were above average volume. Only slightly, but still above average. PHR, this is my second strongest stock. It is an IPO stock, so things could change fast. Right now, it's above its 8-day and 13-day simple moving average, and I did move my floor up to the 13-day. I've held it just about 2 weeks, and it's up 4.7%. Enphase, this is clearly my strongest stock. This is a super strong chart because the price is well above the 8-day simple moving average and 13-day, and it is continuing to accelerate. That pink line is going up faster than the green line. I do have 3 buys in this stock. My B1 I've held just over 12 weeks and it's up almost 116%, which is crazy. My B2 I've held for just over 5 weeks and it's up just about 65%. And my buy 3 I've held just under 5 weeks and it's up just about 60%. I moved my floor up to 27.56, which is where I thought was a good spot. I couldn't make myself move it up to that 8-day. I thought that was too close. And then the 13-day was too far away. So I settled at 27.56. Down in the volume section, you can see that purple line that the average daily volume is starting to increase. One of the last 4 days hit that new average, but the other 3 days were above what the average was a couple of weeks ago. So I think this is a strong movement in this chart. Here's my current gains for my B1 sorted with the losers on the top. My thought is if I take care of my losers, my winners will take care of themselves. I also look at the percentage change per week, or if it's my first week from when I bought it. And I also sort that with the losers on the top. So I have 2 stocks that went down this week, SM, SI, and Paycom. Here's my industry breakdown. I have 9 different stocks. Enphase in the brown, I have 3 buys in, and GX, I have 2 buys in, and the rest of them are all single purchases, and I really just got into those. I benchmark my progress against the S&P 500, and at the end of week 17, year 2, I'm up 44% versus 9.8% for the S&P 500. I like to look at where my gain and losses came from since last week. Stocks that I sold this week, I sold a ton of my stocks and they went down almost $5 grand from last week. My existing holdings, I had a gain of $44.90, and then I lost $712 in the stocks that I had just purchased this week. On 8/9, I have $18,242 in cash. So I have enough cash to buy a new stock. I could do a B3 in my GSX if I wanted, or a B2 and 3 in all my stocks except Enphase and GSX. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, or better yet, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell if you want an alert when I post a new episode.